All right, welcome back to This Stays Between Us. We're now on episode 3,
Right.
the Situationship part 3, and this is the ending to the story. This is my favorite part of the story to tell anyone because this is where things get wild and just insane.
Just so you know, it wasn't her favorite part of the story when it happened.
Not when it happened. It was the most depressing part, one of the most depressing events of my entire life.
I remember.
Holy crap. I love telling this story. This is like the way that everything worked out. It could not have been written any better than like a Lifetime, like Hallmark movie.
Right.
Very The Other Woman with Cameron Diaz style. So all right, started. I think last we left off was there was the birthday party.
Right.
Vanessa's birthday party, the pool party. Then he came back from Puerto Rico. He was jealous, thought that I was talking to other guys, got upset that I had more followers. We reconnected, everything worked out. So I'll kind of take it from there. So after the pool party for the next, I want to say, well, the pool party was, I don't even remember what month it was, but for the next, June. Now for the rest of that month, for the rest of July, I think it was like 2 months total that everything was going really, really good. All of a sudden, we were finally in this state where we were in a very, finally, like a real relationship. I'll say it that way.
Or so it seems.
It was finally, I remember at the time thinking, I knew that it still wasn't right. I knew that it still was a toxic relationship, not a good relationship. I was like, oh, we're finally pretending. Like, we're finally going on all these dates and going out with his friends and doing what a boyfriend and girlfriend does, even though nobody was calling each other boyfriend, girlfriend. But we were just finally in that, doing so well. I felt like I was finally in a relationship rather than like a situationship or being taken advantage of or whatever the first couple of months were.
Right.
And then everything went to shit spectacularly, I must say. So I'll take it from my birthday. My birthday was August 3rd. On my birthday, I was with my family, and I told him that I couldn't see him because I had to be with family. And the next day, on the 4th, was a Friday, and he took me out for my birthday for dinner. I think at that point, I was still kind of waiting for the date. Like, it's a little over a year into the relationship now, because if you remember, we met July 2022, and now this is August 4th, 2023. Like I said, we've been doing great. We've been, dinners, this, that, whatever, but we still haven't done the real day dates. Like it's the summertime. We haven't gone to the beach. We haven't gone to the pool. We haven't done anything. It's always, like after work on a Friday, meeting up for, for around 5 o'clock, and then spending the weekend. But even spending the weekend was like staying indoors almost, just not doing anything fun. So on the 4th, we go out for dinner. We have a really nice time. 2 days later, August 6th, it's a Sunday. I message him in the morning. Babe, I really want to go to the beach. It's a really nice day out. Let's go do something. He's like, sweetie, I already have plans with my boys. We're all going to ride our motorcycles. We're gonna go out, just whatever, have a good time. All right, fine. I'm a big advocate of guy time. Have your guy time, go out, enjoy, have a blast. I'm like, all right, fine. And I figured, I was like, all right, I'll talk to you later. We do that. We check in the middle of the day and we each go about our own day. Around 2 o'clock, he checked in with me that day and he asked me what I ended up planning for myself for the day. And I told him, I said, I'm going to a pool party. It was the same place Vanessa's birthday was. It was LIC, Summer Club. And I said, yeah, I'm going, there's a event going on. I'll be there. You're more than welcome to come. If you want to change your plans, I would love to be with my man. No, babe, we're going out. All the boys are going. We're riding our motorcycles and we're going to go to a bar. We're going to have a sick night. I was like, all right, well, enjoy. Be careful. Love you. I'll talk to you later. Now I get to the pool party around 2:30, having an amazing time. Now everything, when everything just feels good because everything's going right. In the back of my head, I'm in this, my relationship's good. Everything's good. Life's good. Work's good. Everything's just going great. I'm having such an amazing day. Around 4:30, he calls in to check in again. He said, babe, we just finished riding motorcycles. Now we're going to head to the bar. We're going to get some drinks. And then later on, I'm just going to go home. He has work the next day. So he was like, that's where the night's taking us. I said, all right, perfect, beautiful. It's 4:30. He checked in. I told him, I said, I'm still at this pool party. We're probably going to head out in like an hour and a half. I'll call you when I get home. He says, okay, no problem. I think that night I got home maybe around like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I go, I shower, I get into bed, kind of like doom scrolling on Instagram. And I send him a text. He doesn't answer. All right. I call him. I think now it's around like 9 o'clock. He doesn't answer. FaceTime, doesn't answer. All right. Last I heard from you, you were with the boys.
4:30.
Either you're still with the boys, because sometimes he doesn't answer when he's with the boys, or then he'll answer like when he's already on the way home. Um, just kind of like ignore it. I tried to take a nap, but I remember that I started getting this feeling started creeping up on me, like
That something is wrong.
something's wrong, something's not right, because
Right.
I feel like unless he was mad at me, if he wasn't mad at me, if he couldn't pick up the phone, usually he will text me. And what I later found, I'm about to skip events. When he wasn't mad at me, if he wouldn't pick up the phone, he would just send me a text like, "Babe, I can't pick up right now. I'm with the boys, or I'm this, or I'm that, but I'll call you later." So that's how he would kind of like check in, and I know that everything's okay. No phone call, no text, nothing. Now an hour later, I'm trying to fall asleep. I can't fall asleep. Something doesn't feel right. My heart's beating. I'm like, just something doesn't feel right. My intuition is literally just knocking, like just telling me just something is not right.
And your nervous system too.
Yeah. I go on Facebook. Now on Facebook Messenger, if you're friends with somebody, it'll usually tell you when that person was last active on
Okay.
social media. And I think that Facebook and Instagram is connected. I'm fairly sure that even if you don't go on your Facebook, if you were active on Instagram, it connects and your messenger shows that you were active.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
But regardless, even if you're active, if you're on, it's gonna say active 22 minutes ago, active 17 minutes ago, active,
Okay.
active whatever. I go on his messenger,
Right.
like through our messages on at it's like 10:30 now. It says active 6 hours ago.
Oh, so he wasn't on any social media for the past. So something
Exactly.
was keeping him up.
Mhm.
Like something was keeping him
Mm-mm.
busy. That he
Busy or
didn't even,
whatever.
he wasn't even just bored.
Whatever the case was, he had not been. Now, it was unheard of for AK not to be on his. It was unheard of. He is, even if it's just for a second, he goes on his Facebook, he goes on
Yeah.
his Instagram, he looks at
Yeah.
who's watching his stories, he goes on he's always active. There's nobody that he hangs out with that he doesn't at least check his social media.
You
Something's
already know his
off.
patterns.
Yeah.
That's why you
It's
realized
been
that.
yeah, it's a little over a year at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, just something's not right. But it could very well be that he went out, he had an amazing time, he got drunk, he came home and went straight to bed. That's a possibility. So in my head, I'm like, calm down. He probably just literally knocked out and is getting like, that's it. He has to be up early for work. So I let it go. I take a melatonin and force myself to fall asleep. I still go to sleep with this feeling that something is not right. The next morning, I wake up. First thing I do is I reach for my phone. No call, no text. That's not great. I've said it before in the other episode that he wakes up in the middle. I know his sleeping schedule or his sleeping patterns. He wakes up in the middle of the night every night, sometime between 3 and 6 a.m. He wakes up once, scrolls on his phone for 30 minutes to an hour, and then falls back asleep to wake up for work later.
He wakes up every night?
In the middle of the night, he always used to get up at least once. Like even like throughout the week, I would get
He's stressed.
I used to wake up every morning to like memes that he had sent me overnight because he was always
That means that
whether I
he's
was there or
stressed.
not.
His cortisol level is high. That's why he keeps waking up in the night.
Whatever his issue was.
No, he's a stressed person.
Who isn't a stressed person?
A lot of people. You don't wake up.
Girl, everybody's stressed.
Yeah, but do you wake up every night?
No, I just struggle to fall asleep. Never fall asleep. So no memes, no calls, no texts. I'm back on high alert. I go on his Facebook. Has not been active now. Again, X amount of hours. I'm doing the math. Last time he was active was when we checked in at 4:30 the day before. Oh my God, my heart was racing. I'm like, something is not right. Even like, no, my mind doesn't even go to the idea
Would
that he
you,
might be.
at any relationship, think if something like this happened, the same, or is it because of him?
What do you mean?
Imagine that you would be in a different relationship with someone else, because you had past relationship before and after him. If anyone would do what he did that day, would you be reacting the same way? Is it you reacting like this? Or is it you reacting because it's him and you know he's
Girl,
not a safe person?
at that moment, no, it's anyone,
Anyone.
anybody.
Okay.
Because listen, in the last episode when he wasn't answering the phone, the night that when he went to the Bronx Zoo, um, in my head I was like, oh, he's with a girl, he's with a girl. Why? Because I see that you're active and you're not answering the phone. At that moment that he wasn't active, that I saw he hadn't been active all night, I was like, I hope he's with a girl. Like I remember knowing something was wrong, and I remember thinking, I hope he's with a girl. But even with a girl, even if he was with somebody he wasn't supposed to be with, that man is always on his phone.
His
He
phone.
goes on his phone. He's one of those people. So I already know something's not right. Um, Also, I do have my own experience of, and I won't get too into it, but I have a friend who passed away. And kind of the way that I found out was, one night we were texting, like just going back and forth, and all of a sudden the messages stopped. And I'm thinking, oh, this person fell asleep or whatever. It's, nighttime. And the next morning I woke up to, the news that that person had passed overnight.
So
Reasons
dead
aside.
left.
So in my head, I have that kind of PTSD of that,
Yeah.
of when somebody doesn't answer. That's why I tell everyone, I'm like, or when I start dating somebody, I always say this: if ever we're talking and you can't get to your phone, or you're going to be busy, I'd prefer that you say, hey, I'm busy today, so if you don't hear from me, whatever, I'd rather you tell me that I'm to expect not to hear from you, just because I do have this experience that it really messed me up, thinking that that person's, oh, he fell asleep, whatever. And then the next morning to get that news was like I had no, like, you would never think that.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of messed me up, thinking that that person was sleeping and they were gone.
Right.
But in that moment, it wasn't even that PTSD. It was more just knowing that the last time that I spoke to him, he was riding his motorcycle and going to get drinks. So now I'm already putting two and two together, like that.
Alcohol,
Plus, yeah,
motorcycle.
I'm just sitting here like, oh, I hope he's like, I hope he's with a girl. Please be with a girl. Please be with somebody that you just end up bringing your phone out. I got ready for the day. Now I start work at 6 a.m. So I was at 6:30 in the morning is usually when I get to work. So now I'm up super, super early, and I'm sitting here still trying to convince myself, listen, maybe he's still sleeping, maybe this, maybe that, whatever. I knew his schedule, and I knew that on Mondays he starts work at 10 o'clock. So I told myself, if he doesn't show up, if he doesn't answer or
Reach out by
appear
10.
as active online by 10 o'clock, then you have to be worried. So I was like, all right, I'll wait for that. I go to work, I'm training my clients in the back of my head. I'm like waiting for 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock comes. I check my phone, no, nothing from him. And I see that he still hasn't been active. I remember that I started sweating. I'm training my client and it's summertime.
Anxiety.
The AC is up high, but I am sweating because I need this session to be done. I need to be finished with you so I can go, because my plan was I'm going to call his job and see if he got home, went into work. Mind you, the person's not like, it's not that he could be angry. It's not that this was, he's not, there's nothing going on. There is absolutely zero response, nothing,
yeah.
coming or going. So I was like, all right, I'll call his job. I know all his coworkers. I know his boss. I know his boss's wife. I'm just going to call and say, has AK shown up to work, because he's not answering his phone. I think at that moment I was also like, maybe I'm really overreacting. Maybe he lost his phone. He doesn't have like a computer or anything. Maybe he's not, that's also an option. So I'm perfect. I'll call his job and check and see if he went to work, then everything's fine. Before I could even finish that thought, I'll never forget it. I get a text from his boss's wife. The text was a paragraph of something along the lines of, hey, Eden, have you heard from AK recently? We've been calling him all morning. He hasn't shown up to work. We sent somebody to his house. He never came home last night. His motorcycle's not in the driveway. And no one's heard from him since yesterday. When I tell you, this man has never missed a day. This man has been like violently hungover, throwing up at work, and has still shown up to work. He did not play about work. He shows up. When I got that text that he didn't show up to work and they were asking me if I knew where he was, and they already checked his house, and he lives with his parents.
Yeah, at
So
this
they checked
point,
his house, his parents said he never came home, the motorcycle's not there, da, da, da.
you don't even know if he's alive.
Oh no, in my head, he's dead.
Yeah, something happened.
In my head, he's dead. I was training somebody at that point. I think it was like 10 minutes after her session. I literally was in such like a messed up state of mind. I looked at my client. I said, I need to go. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. This is an emergency. I need to go. I came into this room, came into the back office, fell to my knees on the floor, and just started like hyperventilating because in my head I'm like, he's dead. He's gone. There's no like he was on his like all I'm thinking is he went to drink. He was on his motorcycle last time and I'll never forget that feeling of like wanting to hear from somebody so badly, and you want to hear that they're okay, and you want to hear, and it's like I can't communicate with you. I don't know where you are. I don't know what's going on. I called my mom and I just started crying. I was like, I think AK's gone. I think he's
Yeah.
unalive. Like I was like, I don't know what to do. I can't breathe. I can't think. I don't know what to do. I'd never experienced anything like this. And in my head, there was no other option.
Right.
Because I'm thinking to myself, the parents would know if it was anything else, if he got arrested, he would call and his parents would know. Or, if he was with a girl, like people would know.
He would still show
Nobody
up to
knows.
work.
My mom was like, calm down, calm down. My mom was too far. She couldn't, she's like, I can't come to you right now because she was doing her job. She goes, you need to calm down, you need to breathe, and you need to think. Maybe you're overreacting. Look at the situation again because maybe it doesn't make sense. My mom says something doesn't make sense.
Right.
Whatever. I hang up the phone. I'm still hyperventilating. I don't know what to think. I don't know. The next people that I call is my closest friends. I get on the phone with like one after the other, and they both said the same thing to me because I was crying on the phone. I was like, I think he's gone. Like I don't know what to do. I don't know what do I do? Who do I call? What do I do? They were the ones that calmed me down. They're like, you need to take a breath and you need to find a solution. You need to do this step by step. They're like, first of all, go call the friends that he was with last night because I know who he was with, and see when's the last time they heard from him and get information.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, they kind of grounded me, got me back to reality. I hang up the phone and I message his friends on Instagram, have you guys heard from AK? Do you know where AK is? And I make sure to say his parents don't know where he is, his boss doesn't know where he is, like so that they know it's not that I'm it's not that we're in a fight and I'm looking to find him or whatever. You need to understand that this person is missing, your friend is missing.
Right.
Nobody knows where he is. None of his friends had any information.
Was all he with his friends also?
Yeah, he was with his friends the night before.
Okay.
All of his friends messaged me back. No idea. No idea. Yeah, no, we went for drinks at this. Where the last time that he called me, we all met up for drinks, and then after the bar, we all went our separate ways because they live in different areas. We all went home. They say. No concern. No, holy shit, what's going on? Who have you spoken to? No, so I kept saying, I was like, guys, I'm not overreacting right now. He is missing. He never showed up to work. I'm giving them all the information they need. You need to show a little bit more concern. No idea does not help me right now. I just kept going off. I was like, what do you mean you don't know? Where, like, call him, look for, like, at what point on the highway did you guys separate? Like, I need more information. This person is missing. He's missing. It's your friend. Nobody gave a shit. I don't know if it's because they're shitty friends or if because they thought maybe that we weren't talking or maybe this or that. And in my head, I'm like, even if he was being shady, even if they knew that he was with a girl, they would probably say, let me find out, let me check. Nothing, no information. I call my friends back. I'm crying. I was like, I don't know what to do. His friends are not answering. That's when, I don't remember which one of the two friends that I called, but one of them said to me, why don't you call the female best friend? Call Sheila. Maybe she knows something. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. No problem. I hang up. Now I don't have Sheila's number, but I do know what her Instagram is.
Oh, so you can reach her out.
Yeah. So I go on her Instagram. I go into her messages and I message her. I said, hey, I don't know if you heard, but AK's missing. His family's looking for him. His boss is looking for him. Nobody's heard from him since yesterday at 4:00. Do you have any information? Do you have any idea where he could be or what's going on? She video calls me on Instagram, probably within 30 seconds. I answer the phone. It's not weird. In my head, it's not weird. I'm calling his friend. I answer the phone. The first thing I see is that she is in tears. Like she's crying just the way that I'm crying. And she tells me, she goes, I know that he's missing. They called me too. No, I don't know where he is. She's like, I haven't heard from him. He usually texts me good morning every morning, and I haven't heard from him. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what to do. I'm in tears. She's in tears. Now this becomes even more serious. All the people closest to him have no clue where this person is or what's going on. Now we're both in it. We don't know what to do because it's this feeling of like helplessness. What do you do? Where do you look? What do you
Mm-hmm.
they're by the way, the last thing that the boss's wife texted me, because we were talking, we were going back and forth, because I told her that I also was looking for him. She's like, all right, where the police are at his place of work. We're filling out reports. We're trying to figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So parents are involved. Friends know that he's missing. Police are at the job. His family members are police sergeants and stuff like that. So there's people that know that he's missing. They're on it.
Mm-hmm.
But you want answers, and you want to know that the person you love is okay, and you're freaking out because he is missing.
Okay.
And in my heart of hearts, he was on a motorcycle. He went for drinks. He died. That's where my head was. But I also refuse to believe it. So as we're on the video chat, I'm like, all right, we have to, like I said, I reached out to all the friends. She said, so did I. Nobody knows. The only thing left to do is to now search for him in the best way we can. Realistically, he's either got into an accident somewhere
Hospital.
either in a hospital from an accident, and he's probably like a John Doe if they don't know who he is, or he got arrested. And we both obviously pray that he got arrested. So, but all we can do right now is call the hospitals in the area and call the police stations in the area.
Okay.
So I told her, I'm like, this is the last area that he told me. He said, I'm in this area. We're going to get drinks here. And that's where his friends all corroborated that they all got drinks at this bar. And I said, we're going to call, I said, you call every hospital within a 10-mile radius. I'll call every police station in a 10-mile radius.
Okay.
Give his first and last name, but also give John Doe. Because at a hospital, when they don't know your name, you're a John Doe. She says, okay, beautiful. We hang up. I think we also exchanged numbers at that point. I'm calling police stations. I'm telling them that I'm his wife. I'm lying. I'm like, my husband is missing. His friends, family, everyone, nobody knows. No police station has any
information.
Not the first and last name, not John Doe. She's calling, nothing. We're going over, and we're going from one station to the next. She's going one hospital to the next. Finally, it was one of his friends that reached out to me. He said, hey, listen, I found him. He got arrested. He's at blank jail. I'm not going to say the area. He got arrested. He's okay, but he got arrested.
Okay.
Girl.
The relief.
Girl, the relief. The relief. Oh my God. I will never forget that feeling of like, oh my God, he's alive. He's alive. I was so happy in that moment. I wanted to go there and hug him. I was like, I need to hold, I remember thinking like, I just need to go hold him. I need to hug him. I'm so fucking happy right now. In that moment, I was so just happy because I just spent the last, I think it was like 2 hours it took to figure all that out. I just spent the last 2 hours thinking that this person's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I called a friend, the female friend, Sheila. I said, listen, they found him. He got arrested, but he's okay. She starts crying. I'm crying. It's tears of happiness. I'm like, all right, what do we do? Because at this point, I didn't have a car. I didn't even mention this in the other episode. The reason I didn't have a car at the time is because about a week after we reconciled back in that June time, a week after we had gone to a Yankee game together, and on the way back home that night, I crashed my car. I rear-ended. It's not as dramatic as it sounds. I rear-ended another car, and the damage wasn't that bad, but what had to be replaced was so expensive that it was a total loss.
Right.
I drove that car for like the next 7 days, and then when I dropped it off, they called it a total loss. I was like, I've been driving this car for 7 days. What do you mean? How does this happen? Whatever. I didn't have a car, so I told him, like, what do we do now? Because if I have to come, like, it's an, mind you, again, he lives an hour away, and that area is an hour away.
Right.
So I told her, I said, I can go rent a car, no problem, but what do we do? Do we go to the jail? What do we do? She said, listen, I live 20 minutes away. I'm going to go to the jail. She also has a background in law. She said, I'm going to go see what's going on. When I get there, I'm going to ask to see him. If they let me see him, I'll call you and you can come up. If they don't let us see him, there's no point in you making the drive.
True.
I will call you and let you know, and we'll figure it out. I said, okay, no problem. At this point, we have each other's phone number, whatever. I cancel the rest of the day of my clients. And I literally was sitting at the front at work, my phone out in front of me, literally
Waiting for her to call
just
you and let you
staring at the
know.
phone. I'm waiting. I need to know what's going on. I need to know he's okay. I need to know why he got arrested. I need to know that he's going to be released. I need to know what to expect, what's happening. Um, Finally, an hour later, she FaceTimes me. She says he's okay. She said they didn't let me see him. He's getting released today. She said I don't know at what time. They said it could be in the next hour. It could be in the next 4 hours. We have no idea. But he is coming home today. But they won't let me see him.
Okay.
So she goes, I don't know if it's worth you coming all the way up here because we don't know. Again, we don't know if it's going to be now or in a couple of hours.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so we'll figure that. There's time. If I need to rent a car in 2 hours, I can go rent a car in 2 hours to make it up there. I don't care. Now we're both just sitting there staring at each other, and you can see that we both have relief. We both know everything's all right. They haven't told us what he got arrested for because they're not allowed to, but there's relief. We're both okay. Everything's fine. He's all right, and we're kind of just like looking at each other and like smirking, like, this person's okay. Everything's okay. And then I'm just like looking at her, and it's like silent on the phone. She's looking at me, and I'm just like it's now or never. We might as well. We're on the phone. We're on FaceTime.
Right. You might as well ask the questions.
Yeah. I look at her and I just kind of go, so he told me that you're his best friend. Is that true? Is that what this is? And she goes, well, yeah, I'm his best friend, but I'm also his girlfriend. I'm like, oh, okay.
Then how are you okay with me?
Hold on, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
I said, okay. How long have you been his girlfriend for? She goes, we've been together for 7 months.
And you and him?
13 months. I said, okay. All right, mind you, I'm just like, okay. She goes, yeah, she goes on to elaborate. She says, his family knows me. His family met me. I go out. They all have my number on, we all text, we talk. I sleep over a couple of times a week. We go out with his friends. We go out to different, we're together. Okay. I go.
So what was she thinking that you are then?
Hold on, we'll get there.
Okay.
I said, oh.
Look, because I'm like, I don't get it. How is she okay with talking to you? If she knows that she's the girlfriend, what does she think that you are? The best friend?
She says to me, what about you? Who are you to him? I said, I'm his girlfriend too. No, I said, I'm his girlfriend too. I thought I was. She goes, oh, how long have you been his girlfriend? I said, 13 months. Way before you. She goes, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, yeah, no, literally everything you just described, the sleeping over, the family knows you, the family this, going out with friends, going out with this, going out with the yeah. 7 months? 13 months. We're just like looking at each other, just like, and then we both, and this was the funniest thing, we both just start laughing. We both just start laughing because it's so like just the fact that this is happening, the fact that, first of all, mind you, we're a little, I want to say that we were still in shock of thinking that the person we both loved, we both thought he was dead that morning. So I think that emotions were just very high. We were both in shock, and so just finding this out was like not the worst thing that happened that day. Like, mind you, we're both just still happy that this person's alive. It doesn't change the fact that like we love him. So I look at her and I'm like, look, I'm the first person to say it. I'm like, look, no, there's no hate or anger here. Like, we both clearly got played. So I don't feel nothing against you. She goes, no, same. I have nothing against you either. I'm like, well, while we're here, tell me about like, how did you meet him? How did this happen? Let's get into the fact that we're both his girlfriend, right, and we both had no idea. Let's unpack. And I think one of the first things I said, oh, he told me you were his best friend. Who did you think I was? Mm-hmm. She said, he told me that you were his crazy ex-girlfriend that wouldn't leave him alone. Oh. I said, oh, that's so interesting. because the girl that wouldn't leave him alone in the beginning of our relationship was also a crazy ex-girlfriend that wouldn't leave him alone until finally months later I stopped hearing about it. So now I'm thinking to myself,
You're replacing her now.
how many girls, how
Yeah.
many, who, how many girls were you with when me and you got together?
Mm.
Because if I'm a crazy ex-girlfriend and she was a crazy ex-girlfriend, like, I was like, oh my God, this whole, just everything came to light. This was the, like, I couldn't even be mad at that moment. Again, it wasn't just the fact that I was just still happy that he was alive and that it wasn't the worst thing that I found out that day. It's more just like this idea of like, I knew the entire relationship that something wasn't right. I knew
Exactly.
that it was
That's what I
toxic,
was
that he
about
was
to
lying.
say.
It
Neither
just
you
kind of
or
was
her
like,
were surprised because both of you knew who you're dealing with. If
exactly.
not conscious, knowing, subconsciously you knew it. Both of you. You knew he's up to no good. You knew this relationship, whatever she had with him, whatever you had with him, was not a relationship that gave you guys security, uh, peace of mind, or whatever. Like, you know what relationship, what normal
It
relationship
was
would
almost a
give
relief. It
someone.
was almost a relief to like just kind of finally have an answer.
Yeah.
It was kind of like I knew it. I
Yeah.
knew it. I knew this was not a best friend. I knew this.
Right.
You guys went to Puerto Rico together. All this stuff. All the times that I knew he was with a girl. All that. It was just kind of like finally the key, the answers,
The
like
puzzle.
I knew it. It was kind of this feeling of like, yeah, like I was more happy about like finally having an answer and knowing that I was right this whole time.
Right.
I'm a female. I was just finally, I was like, yeah, I've been right this whole time. I knew it.
Right.
When I tell you, so now I will say this was around 1 p.m. now that this FaceTime had started. When I tell you from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., 6 hours, we were on FaceTime for 6 hours just unpacking everything. Everything. When I tell you we were on our phones, we were going through our photo albums like, oh yeah, here's a photo of me and his dog, February 12th, 7 a.m. She goes, here's a photo of me and his dog, February 12th, whatever, that night. If I was with him that morning, she was with him that night.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, February 17th, 6 p.m. I was with him. The next day she has a photo, 10 a.m. with like I left, she would come over. She left, I came over. Like this man, I want to say that we were the two main girls. I hope only the two of us were the two main ones
What does it
that
matter?
overlapped.
2, 3, 5 doesn't matter. What do you mean you hope? Who cares?
Listen, I'd like to hope that it was just me and her. I know that it wasn't, but
Right.
he really, really had us believing that it was just, she thought it was just her. I thought it was just me. And it was like, if I left that morning, she got there that night. And then if I was there on the weekend, she was on the weekdays. Like, he really had an amazing life between the two of us because she was honestly, as I was getting to know her over the phone, because mind you, we'd be like talking about like, yeah, I met him like this is what we did on this day. Like I told her, I was like, oh, Valentine's Day, the February 14th, he wasn't available. She goes, yeah, he was with me. And then she would bring up a date like Thanksgiving. I was like, yeah. She goes, he wasn't available on Thanksgiving. I'm like, yeah, he was with me. Like it was too funny to even be mad about it. Like we weren't upset, we weren't anything. We were laughing as we were comparing dates and times and this and that. And the funniest thing is that every time he was with me and she would ask who he was with, he would say his cousin. She goes, so now, like, so it's all right. Well, it's great to meet you. I've been dying to meet his cousin. Like, we just started laughing at the whole situation because, again, you're still running on this like high of like of what happened earlier today, and still the person you're talking about is rotting in jail. By the way,
And
let's
you
not
guys
forget
still
that he's waiting to
don't,
get
both of you
released.
still don't know why he's in jail for.
So throughout that FaceTime, I had also reached out to one of his family members that we follow each other on Instagram. And earlier that day, and I said, hey, do you know, because that person lives a little bit farther away from him. So I said, hey, do you know where he's at? Whatever. When that family member, so I told, I also updated that family member, hey, I don't know if you heard, but we found him. He got locked up. They said, okay. During the FaceTime, I'm trying to remember how this happened. I don't know if it was. Okay. I remember what happened because it was a 6-hour FaceTime, but there was one time that she had to hang up. Now, mind you, this is after like a couple of hours. I want to say this was like around 5:30ish. So now it's been like 4.5 hours of unloading everything, kind of like getting all the secrets out there, getting all the information out there. Um, she says, "Hold on, let me call you back because I'm getting a phone call from the police station." I said, "Okay, no problem." She hangs up. I'm waiting by the phone. As she's, while I'm waiting for her on the phone, I get a DM from that on Instagram from that family member. And I open it and I see that it's just a mugshot of his face. And I'm like, oh shit, it's on all the news channels in that area, in that state. And I didn't even think yet to really go. You know how they post like the mugshot on the news channel, but then and there would be like a
A
description and a
description of
caption.
what happened.
Before I went to look at the description, she calls me back.
Okay.
She said, she goes, "Are you sitting down? Because you need to for this." I said, "What?" She goes, "I found out what he got arrested for. They finally told me." And I'm like, "Yeah, I just got his family member just sent me his mugshot. I sent it over to her." And mind you, I'm still not reading like what he got arrested for. I'm like, what happened? What did he get arrested for? She goes, "Are you sitting?" I'm like, "Yeah, what happened? Tell me." She goes, I don't want to say exactly what, but she goes, essentially part of it is that he had a DUI
Mm-hmm.
because he crashed his motorcycle. He was riding his motorcycle. He crashed, and there was a girl on the back of the motorcycle.
With him.
This motherfucker was on a date with a third person, with a whole different woman.
What do you mean a third? A third that you guys know.
Girl, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. He was on a date and crashed the motorcycle. They went out to get drinks, crashed the motorcycle. She tells me about the girl. As she's telling me, I'm reading the mugshot. The description says a female passenger was on the back when he crashed, whatever. We both just start like, are you kidding? We start screaming. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Between the two of us, this wasn't enough. Between everything that we did for him and all the stuff, that, like, we weren't enough. A third person, we were in between tears and laughing at that point because of really, like, you were on a date. Because mind you, don't forget that day I specifically said to him, "Babe, I really want to go to the beach." And he said, "No, I have plans with the boys. I can't cancel on the boys." She also went on to tell me, so at some point during that FaceTime, yeah, I begged him to go to the beach that day too. Can you imagine if he would have just given up on that girl, given up on this date, which we later found out was a first date between the two of them, to go out with either one of us?
Yeah, this wouldn't have happened and he wouldn't get locked up.
Like, really? And the craziest part about this entire story is that this poor girl that he crashed with ended up in a coma for the next 2 weeks. She was in a coma. She's fine. Everything worked out. It was an induced coma. It was so that she wasn't in pain while she healed. Mm-hmm. That's what he got arrested for. He went out for drinks with her.
First date.
Wherever they went, they crashed on the way there. He had to call the cops. Obviously, ambulance came, and then he got arrested because they were drunk. I can't even explain that I don't think I have any other day in my life that I've had so many emotions running through me. Can you imagine starting the day off already worried and then getting the text from the boss's wife, thinking he's dead, reaching out to people that you don't normally talk to, reaching out to the girl that you're already not sure about, calling different hospitals, whatever, finding out that he's alive, finding out he's okay, finding out that this girl that you had a feeling about, it turns out to be his other girlfriend, unpacking all of that, finding out all the times he lied to you, all this stuff, and then finding out that there was a third person and you crashed with her. God knows the clusterfuck that's going to come with now. This story doesn't just end here. It's not, we thought he got arrested for a DUI. That's pretty, cut and dry. You come out after you get released, and now you got to deal with the fines and this and that. But now a whole other person is in the hospital because of you.
Right.
She was like, all we know is that he crashed and she's in the hospital.
So now he can face jail time.
Yeah. That was one of the craziest days of my entire life. And I almost was addicted to, like, I couldn't get off the phone with her. We could not, like, there was
Yeah, she was your source of comfort.
Yeah, I couldn't get over the word. We were both, we cry again, we cried to each other, we laughed with each other, we
Yeah,
could
you
not.
guys bonded
Yeah,
quickly.
we couldn't understand like how what is this day? Where did this all come from? That was the one of the most dramatic. Just we end up around, I want to say it was like 6:37 ish that she finally gets a call, and they say that they're releasing him. She can come inside to pick him up. So she calls me. She hung up to pick up that phone call. She calls me back. She says, "Listen, I'm going in to pick him up. Before I go in, I want you to know that I'm done with him." I said, "Same thing. I'm done. Um, you don't go back after you. There's no relationship after that. It's one thing if it was a fling. It's one thing if it's whatever. There's like I can understand girls who stay with somebody that cheated the one time, maybe whatever. This was a whole other relationship. You crashing with another, all the obvious things. But the last things we said to each other was, I'm breaking up with him. It's done. She said to me, I'm taking him home, dropping him off, and I'm done with him. I said, good luck to you. Good luck with picking him up. Good luck with seeing it. I can't imagine what this is going to feel like. And that's it. That was the end of that relationship. I don't like even just now going through the emotions of everything that I went through that day was insane. I did end up the next day he did end up calling me to apologize for everything that happened. I didn't have it in my heart to be mad at him. At that point,
No, you understand at some point that it's like kind of like a sickness.
mm-mm,
It's like the
not even that.
attention seeking validation constantly,
Not even that.
cannot stay with one person. You always have to get another person, because it wasn't just you, it was you, then it was her. Then he kept juggling between the both of you. And while he's still with both of you, he did not break with none of you. He did not break up with none of you. He got the third one, and that's only three that we know. So what I'm saying is, it's I don't know. I feel like at some point you feel sorry
When we
for a
were
person like this. You don't get mad.
The reason I wasn't mad, it wasn't about feeling sorry. It wasn't about anything. I think in that moment I also just understood as a human, because the last thing I also the next day when he was on the phone with me, he told me, he said, he's like, yeah, the girl's in the hospital. She's gonna be okay, but they did put her like nothing is like she's not like
She's not
no
in a
death.
life. It's not life
It's not a
threatening.
life. I was trying to find the word for it. It's not a life threatening situation, but they are going to keep her in an induced coma while her body heals so that she doesn't have to go through any pain. But obviously, now this is coming with a huge case. There's going to be a whole thing like your life is already for the foreseeable future. You already have enough on your plate.
Right.
I don't need you feeling bad or whatever. I told him he was apologizing on the phone, and I said to him, I'm not mad at you. I have nothing to say to you. Just, I still love you. Just take care of yourself. I just need you to be okay. Because at the end of the day, I still love that. Again, he was the only man that I ever loved at that, the only man I ever said I love you to. The only man I ever said, yeah, I love you too.
Looking back, you still think you loved him?
Yes. Yeah. It was not a healthy relationship. It was a toxic relationship. It wasn't even a real relationship.
Right.
But after, again, haven't gone over the abusive relationship I was in, but this was only my second relationship ever, and still to this day I haven't been in a relationship with anybody else since. But I only have those two experiences:
Right.
the abusive relationship and this was not healthy, this was toxic, this was cheating, this was all this shit. But at the end of the day, this was the safer. There was so many good times. There were no good times in that first relationship. That was a scary, just all in all, just
But that's for another
horrible
time.
experience. Yeah, no, we'll go through that another time. But that was the scariest 2-3 years of my life, being around that person. There was never any time that I felt safe. This was the only relationship that I have, even now, to look back at and think, all the times we laughed and we were childish and we were immature and we had fun and we had good times. It was more good times than bad times, where the only other relationship I had was constant fear and bad times. And that's, again, a whole thing I'll get into.
I feel like that's what happens to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Once you date a guy for a long time and this guy gives you absolutely nothing but chaos, and the relationship is so abusive and bad, the next guy that comes doesn't need to do much, because the bar is so low at this point that there's only like a few basic things. Yeah, a few basic things. Not to be an abusive. That's
No, but it was fun. It was fun. Listen, for the next 2 months, I don't think I stopped crying. It was embarrassing. I was at work crying through training my clients. I'm a personal trainer, so I'm training clients and crying. And it was summertime, so when my clients were like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
I was obviously, wasn't like with tears.
My
eyes were red because I just kept thinking about what I'm going through. Like my eyes were red with tears in them. You know what I would tell my clients? I'd be like, "Yeah, I have allergies. I'm sorry. Summer. I wasn't allergic to shit. I was going through. I could not. I was in so much pain. Again, this was the first person that I ever loved. And the way that things ended, it wasn't even just like finding out he cheated. It was an accident, somebody's life, cops, jail, this, that, whatever. Also realizing that his entire family knew. These people saw me. I was at his house around, like, nobody wanted to send me a text from a fake number, a DM from a fake Instagram, nothing to kind of let me know, hey, sweetie, you are not the only one. Save yourself. That was the craziest way to break up, to end a relationship, to find out about everything that was going on behind closed doors.
Right.
I cried so for 2 months. I could not stop crying. I was in so much pain. And then I think it was like on the 2 month mark that I finally just one day woke up and I was just accepted that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
It happened. It hurts. It sucks. You have a life to get on with.
Right.
You cried.
Right.
You don't have to jump into another relationship. You don't have to do it. Now's the time to shift the focus back on you. For that year, my focus was him. Anything that he needed, anything that he wanted. You need me there this weekend? I'm canceling plans on anyone else to be with you. You need your laundry folded? You want me to cook? You want me this? You want me that? I was a wife, a girlfriend, a best friend, everything that I could
without
possibly
the title.
be. Yeah. I didn't care for myself at that time. I was all about him. At the 2 month mark, I was like, all right, now it's your time. It's time to focus on you again. This is not a bad thing. This is very, very good. You finally were forced out of that relationship.
Right.
So I think so. Yeah, after 2 months, that's when I just started kind of working on just got back to myself. Just took it a day at a time, accepted that it was gone. But I will say, and I won't discredit him for this, that cheating aside, it was the healthier of two relationships that I had. And I did have a lot of fun. I don't regret it. I also learned so many lessons. Anytime a guy tries to talk to me now, I see the slightest red flag, anything I would have ignored in the past, before AK, during AK, anything that I would make an excuse for, done. I know this. I recognize this. My ex did this. I'm aware already. I know the game. Done. Gone. No arguments. Just block. Done. Next. I'm at a point in my life I'm looking for something serious. Don't have time for games. Don't have time for excuses. Been there, done that. I'm so thankful for all the lessons I learned. And I look back now, and now it's funny.
Right.
Now it's been years. It's hilarious. Like I can look back and laugh, because at the end of the day, it's a freaking hilarious story. This is crazy. This is like one of my favorite stories to tell, just because it is so funny. I think this was the story that also kind of like inspired this podcast. This was the story that made me want to share, because of how insane it is. It wasn't just cut and dry. Yeah, I got cheated on. No, homeboy was in jail. Someone almost lost their life, which is not funny, but that's how insane and psychotic the ending was.
Right.
Again, I'm grateful for the lessons that I learned. I'm grateful for a crazy story to tell, and I hope that somebody else is listening to this podcast and realizing those red flags in that relationship. You need to go. You need to leave.
Is there anything positive that you got out of this relationship?
Oh, absolutely. This that relationship, and I think I was going to say this earlier and I forgot. This relationship taught me what it's supposed to feel like when you feel safe with someone. I told you, even in the moments that he was aggressive, this, that, whatever, it was never towards me. That man, from the 6 week mark, 2 month mark on, I knew that I was safe with him. It taught me that he taught me that in a relationship, you are supposed to feel safe. That first relationship I was with, I genuinely thought that was normal. I genuinely thought that it was normal to have to check your behavior and be careful and count your steps and watch what you say and all that. I had no real experience of what you're supposed to feel like. Now I also know what it looks like when someone's cheating on you,
Right.
but I got to feel safe in a relationship. I got to be childish. I got to have a good time. Now I know that in my future relationship, when I do find the next person, I know what I want, all the fun stuff that I experienced in that relationship, and I know how to have a relationship. I know what to look out for. I know what to expect, and I know that if I don't feel safe, this is not right. If I don't feel comfortable being immature or childish, this isn't right. I understand a little bit better because of what I went through. And that's how experiences are. That's the whole point of life, is that every experience you go through, you take the lesson, you learn something from it, and in the next part of your life, next experience, next relationship, you know what to look out for, but you also now know what you want. I know what I want. Me and AK, those 13 months that we were together, there were a lot of things that we didn't do. There were a lot of things that I was craving in the relationship. Maybe a little bit more deeper conversations, maybe a little bit more phone calls.
Emotional intimacy was lacking there.
Absolutely. And that was something I learned from that relationship, that I
Right.
need that. So now when I'm getting to know somebody and we're a month into the talking stage, maybe we went out, maybe we did a date or 2 dates, and I see that we're not having full conversations, we're not having deep conversations, we're not asking about each other's day. That's not what I want. And it's okay if you're not a man that's into that. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to be, but that's what I need.
Right.
And so now I know that you're not for me because I know what I want.
I feel like this is something that every girl needs. It's not just you. I feel like every female is looking for a deep connection, for emotional intimacy, for safety, emotional safety, to trust.
Yeah.
Those conversation and checking up, that's what gets you connected. That's what feeds the relationship, those small little things.
Some girls are okay with it. I know women, I know a relationship where they don't talk very, very much, from what she's told me. No, they're together for a couple months now. And
they're in the dating phase. They're not married.
No, not married. But wow. When she tells me about it, she says like, "Yeah, we don't go into deep conversations. Some people are surface level, and that's to each his own."
Yeah, no.
I know what I need, but some girls also, like, for example, I need conversation.
Right.
I want to get lost in conversation with you. I want to talk about anything and everything and all the things that you like to talk about. Get to know
you, your deepest thoughts, your deepest fear, what you
levels.
like, what you don't like. Yeah. Like,
there's also conversations that people won't
show me who you really are, and I'll show you who I really am, you know?
Yes. But there's also some people, there's also certain conversations that people won't have. So I know of men, even like cousins or friends, I know of men that will never discuss fears, that will never discuss insecurities. I know men that don't, or I can imagine that there's men that don't want to have the "how was your day" conversation. And somebody I was with recently, I can't wait to the next story that's going to come up, but that person, we would talk every day and we would see "how was your day?" and we would go into it. "Oh, my day was this." And I have interesting stories from work on a daily basis. He has interesting stories, and it was so much fun to conversate.
Yeah, that's what you're into.
So basically everything that I lacked in the relationship with AK, I took mental note of. And now I know that moving forward, if that's lacking in the next person that I get to know, I know to cut it short earlier. And again, not because there's something wrong with that person, but because
now you know what you want. You have a checklist.
Before with AK, there was a lot that I knew that I wanted and wasn't getting, but I really loved that person, and there were some lessons that So
you compromised?
Yeah, I really wanted to be with that person. And so I let a lot of what I wasn't getting, but and a lot of what I needed slide. Like I just put my feelings aside to be with
It's
that
the worst
person.
mistake to make.
It 100% is, but I think that also comes with age. We were 25 when we
Yeah,
when we met. He
probably.
was
I mean, yes and
I was
no,
25. He
because
was
a
6 years
people
older than me.
pleaser is a people pleaser. I see them in their 30s, in their 40s, 50s. I don't know if it comes with age or if it goes with age. I do know that some people want to please other people, so they'll, you know, they're not gonna place themselves first. But
I
it's a
think I
huge
used to do
mistake
that.
because if you don't put yourself first, then you'll wake up one day and you feel like you're empty. You have nothing else to give.
I do think I classify as a people pleaser, just much less. With that first relationship, 1,000%. With AK, let's say 75%. After AK, and I'm becoming a little bit more and more kind of as I get to
Well, after
know.
AK doesn't really count. You weren't in a relationship after AK. So you
Oh,
have to be in a relationship in
no, but
order to
after
see how much you're willing to
experiencing,
give.
no, but after experiencing AK, I'm much less of a people pleaser. I don't have a third. Like I've only like I said, I've only ever had those two relationships. I don't have yet that third experience, which I'm hoping that
Right,
I've learned enough lessons by now
right.
that that third relationship will be much healthier. But who knows? We'll see. We'll
Let's hope
see
for the
what
best.
happens. All right. Well,
Till next time.
that's the situationship. Till next time.